And good evening, everyone. Here is our weekly look at the weather for the next 7 days or so here in Flagler County. Good evening, and we've had a few changes here, and we have more changes on the way. So let's get right into things. So first, the air quality. Air quality's not been too terribly bad. We've been looking at generally flirting between good to moderate. Matter of fact, moderate air quality is expected tomorrow. So just be aware of that. That really doesn't really impact things unless you have some really, really difficult time, respiratory issues, that kind of thing. So, but one of the things going on right now is that there is a severe geomagnetic storm in progress. Now, I just checked with the Space Prediction Center, and this has weakened some. And what is a geomagnetic storm? Well, the sun had what's called as coronal mass ejection, or CME. Basically, a bunch of material from the sun was ejected at the earth, and then when it hits the earth, it hits the magnetic field, and then how it reacts to that is what causes all kinds of other effects. Now, for us on the ground, we don't even really notice it that much. If you are a ham radio operator and you use HF radio or shortwave radio or anything like that, it can interfere. It can cause radio blackouts and stuff like that. It can cause GPSs to not necessarily work properly. But at this point, based on the last bits of information I saw, it looks like this storm is starting to weaken. Now, tonight when it gets dark, probably you're not going to see it, but it will not hurt to look north tonight after dark to see if the northern lights are visible this far to the south. Sometimes they do show up this far south when you see these severe storms. But this one is not as strong as that one we had last year. So it's more likely you won't see it. The one way to be sure is if you get your smartphone and you switch to the camera mode and you hold it up to the sky. If you see anything pink or anything like that, that could be the northern lights. So, and get into a place where there's not a lot of light pollution. But right now, it looks like even though the severe alert is still in place, it looks like that this storm is starting to weaken. Though some other, it comes in waves. There could be some stronger bits to it. So let's talk about tropical weather. We are now in hurricane season officially, and there's nothing out there of any concern going on in the tropics, at least for the next 7 days. Taking a look at satellite imagery. Now, there's a couple things going on here. And we do have this one tropical wave here. It is very weak. And there's lots of tropical waves. There's another one coming off the coast of Africa there. There'll be lots of these throughout the season. So, matter of fact, they go on even when there's no hurricane season. They're still going on. They're still passing through out there. They just have the chance to develop during hurricane season. Now, if you look here, see a little misty up here? That is smoke from the Canadian wildfires. So we've had African dust to the south of us and smoke to the north of us. You can kind of see a cold front here. We'll take a closer look at that in just a little bit. But right now, tropics are very well behaved. Now, let's take a longer look into the tropics now, what is to be expected through the next 2 to 3 weeks. And as we go through into the first week of June, we're still looking at things staying settled from the Gulf all the way out to the far eastern Atlantic Ocean. But when we start getting into the middle part of June, there's a very, very, very slight chance of development in the southern Gulf, Bay of Campeche, and or western Caribbean. That is a less than 20% chance. So that is, not a definite thing by any stretch. Is a better chance of development here in the eastern Pacific. And now this does not tell us which way storms are going to go, if anything should develop out of here. It just tells us that somewhere in this area, there's potential for some development when we get to the middle part of June. So that's all this means. So as far as the tropics go, we are still looking good as far as any concerns coming out of there in the short term. So quick look at the forecast now. Things stay dry for tomorrow. I forgot, there could be the odd thunderstorm well inland, but generally high temperatures are 90, lows in the 60s. Tuesday, better chance of showers and storms. And then Wednesday, Thursday, things actually may start to get unsettled. Showers and storms likely mostly in the afternoon, but they could come at any time during the day. And then Friday, Saturday, chance PM storms. High near 90, low near 70. Highs in the 80s Wednesday and Thursday because we're expecting a lot of cloud cover with the rain. Now, a reminder that you can sign up for Alert Flagler. It's flaglercounty.gov/alertflagler. Emergency management offers this service. It's completely free. It'll give you a telephone call should there be a severe weather warning in your neighborhood. Now, taking a look at the weather map here. So, a dry front's going to push through Monday and kind of stall out over the area. Then an upper low pressure system will form over the state of Florida, and that'll bring some unsettled weather into the middle part of the week before it begins to move off to the east. So lots of things are going to be changing once again in the week. So taking a closer look now at satellite imagery here. So the front is visible to the south here. There's showers and thunderstorms along it, southern Florida, Miami, places like that. Down here in the far southern Florida Keys, they are staying dry and dry generally elsewhere. But can you see this haze-looking thing up here? See all this? This is Canadian wildfire smoke that has made its way all the way down from Canada that was drawn in by that storm system that was off the coast of New England over the weekend. That smoke is generally staying north of us, but if you look off to the north, you might see a little bit of a haze in the sky there from that smoke. Now, for tomorrow, we can expect mostly clear skies, patchy cloud. And again, as I said earlier, there could be the odd thundery shower. If any of those were to fire up, they'd be in the western part of the county. But the chance is so minimal that I just left it out of the forecast here. So largely staying dry. High temperatures near 88. It'll be hotter inland, cooler at the beaches. And low temperatures near 65 to 70, warmer at the beach. Now Tuesday, we'll start getting into a chance of a shower or a storm. Best chances are going to be inland, generally staying dry along the beaches. Getting the odd shower off the coast can't be ruled out, but generally, so some of those could come in those late night hours, early morning hours. But again, the best chances, showers or storms on the west side of the county. High temperatures near 90, cooler at the beaches. Lows 65 to 70 degrees, warmer at the beaches. Now, Wednesday through Thursday, off-on showers and storms can be expected. Probably most of them will focus in the afternoon and evening, but some of them could blow in off the ocean. And again, this forecast might get changed up a little bit. We will likely be back on Wednesday with an update. It could also see some late night showers. Some of those could be heavy. Some of these could be heavy and thundery. We're not looking at any severe storms or anything like that, but because of the extensive cloud cover expected, we're expecting to see a high temperature near 85 degrees and low temperatures bottoming out right near 70 inland, warmer at the beaches. Now, as we go into the longer range forecast now, this takes us into the weekend upcoming, looking for above normal temperatures and above normal precipitation chances. Going into the longer range now, this takes us into the middle part of June, staying with above normal temperatures and above normal precipitation. Taking us into the even longer long range, this takes us right into the end of June. Look for pretty well above normal precipitation chances and near normal temperatures. Now, what does this mean? It just means that it doesn't mean it's going to be a washout the entire time. It just means on the average, it's going to rain more than it normally would. That's what that means. And again, average temperatures, meaning that, yeah, it's going to be right near what you would expect during the summer rainy season. So, taking a look at wildfire concerns now. We only have 2 contained brush fires in the county at this point. So the wildfire season, because of the recent rainfall, has been slowly dwindling down. That's good news. That's good news. That's good news, because we've had some devastating fires in the past here. And Flagler County, look at all that blue right there. Our drought index is now 181. That is very low. Fire danger also low. So that's definitely some good news. There are some parts of Florida that still, have drought conditions going on. But right now we have some wetter soil. Now, overall, we're still behind on rainfall when you look at the big picture. But in the short term, we've gotten some rain here, and that has helped things. Now, at the beaches, surf 2 to 3 feet. Surf temperature near 80 degrees. There's going to be an elevated risk of rip currents for the next several days. So if you're going to the beaches, just be aware of that. UV index very high. And again, to emphasize the message here with the rip currents, we've actually had probably more people die in rip currents in Flagler County over the years than we've had from any other weather-related phenomena. So again, if you're, know how to swim in those rip currents, if you don't know how to do that, if you're not used to swimming in the ocean, you see the surfers out there, those people, they know what they're doing. If you're not used to rip currents, you don't know how to escape a rip current, I would advise don't get into the ocean when conditions are bad. And you don't even need to have big waves going for rip currents as well. You can get rip currents even with the waves aren't looking that menacing. So at least through Tuesday, as we're expecting breezy onshore winds to be persisting at least into the middle part of the week. So that's going to wrap it up. Again, you can follow us. Of course, you're on Facebook. You're following us here. But TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, be sure to hit like and follow, subscribe, all that stuff. We even have a YouTube channel in which we will be posting this video later. You can also rewind this video and rewatch it anytime you'd like for a refresh. Everybody out there, have a great evening and enjoy your week. Our next update is likely going to be Wednesday.